I want to introduce and call upon Shankar Ram, who is the current chair, Board of Trustees of TiE Global, as well as he has been the constant behind a lot of changes here at TiE SoCal for last 25 years. Without his help and support, TiE wouldn't be where we are. So we are so fortunate that current Board of Trustees chair is Shankar, who is here. He has been helping and guiding us along this journey.
Good morning. On behalf of TiE Global and TiE SoCal, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you for the Investor Summit. The first thing, thanks for inviting me here, but special thanks to Darti Desai, who's a fellow trustee, came all the way from New York for this function. I'd like to thank all the charter members. I'd like to thank all the TiE Global charter members coming from all the other states. I see Sam, you forgot to raise your hand. He's a Kochi member, but he lives in Silicon Valley, but he's a TiE Kochi member too. So we have people from all over the world coming here, and I know Ashish talked about TiE Global. I just want to spend a few minutes on TiE Global, because I was supposed to do it, I'm the chair. So TiE Global is one of the largest organizations supporting entrepreneurship. As Ashish's slide showed, we have 57 chapters spread all over the world. 24 in India, 22 in North America. We have Japan, Singapore, Australia, Germany, UK, you name it. We are all over Africa. We have chapters all over the world. Our main theme, the vision, is fostering entrepreneurship. And the 5 pillars, we talked about networking, which is what we are doing today. Education, you're going to hear some new things and be constant masterclass and whatnot. Then mentoring, which is what we specialize in, and incubation and investment. So today's emphasis is more on investment, and mentoring goes along with that, but today's Investor Summit is we focus on investments as the 5th pillar of TiE Global. So TiE Global basically also has a lot of other programs that encourages this. We have a program for the young entrepreneurs who are high school students called TiE. We have local, regional, national competition, and there's a global competition where we select the winners and we give them cash awards. We have TiE University for the university graduates, recent graduates who want to be entrepreneurs who started companies. Same thing, we have local competition, then finally a global competition. We have TiE Women to support the women entrepreneurs. Actually, Darti Desai is leading the TiE Women program for this year, which is a fantastic, past 3-4 years we've been running it. And last year at the Hyderabad Summit, we raised $750,000 on the stage for companies, the first 3 winners of the TiE Women competition. So in addition to that, we have TiE Mentorship, TiE Nurture Program, TiE Global Angels Program, and many other programs where we are promoting entrepreneurship and innovation. Innovation is change, and that's what we promote. So we would like, if you're not a TiE member, you should consider TiE membership. If you're already a member, participate in these programs, talk to any one of the charter members or the presidents or the trustees, and we'll work with you on that. At the same note, we have an annual summit, a biggest conference, TiE Global Summit, every year. Last year, we had it in Hyderabad, attended by 4,000 or 5,000 people. It was one of the greatest events I've seen, 2-day event. And this year, we're going to have it in Singapore. We are collaborating with Singapore FinTech Festival. That's the largest festival out of Singapore. 60,000 people come. So Singapore that's run by the Singapore government. This is the first time they have partnered with other than a government agency, that's TiE Global. So we're going to have a fantastic art expo this year, November 15, 16, 17th. If you want visibility, if you want exposure, if you want to participate, have a booth, you're going to have 60 to 70,000 people looking at you, all over the Southeast Asia, all over the world. We are going to have speakers with the prime ministers who are big. It's going to be the biggest exposure. If you register early, you may get also a pass to go to all the Singapore FinTech Festival also. This is going to be one of the greatest conferences ever organized by TiE Global along with Singapore FinTech Festival. Please mark your calendars, see if you can come there. That's going to be the biggest exposure for entrepreneurs, investors, corporate executives. That's going to be great. So that's something I want to make sure that you mark your calendar. So having said all this about TiE Global, TiE Southern California was started in '97. That is 25 years ago. She's not here, but I want to acknowledge when you go outside, you'll see the Chuk booth. There is Lady Sonia. She is actually TiE Southern California. Navneet started it, but Sonia did everything. The only person we knew was Sonia when the chapter started. So any chance, go and we are there because of her. We are in existence because of Sonia. Navneet gets the idea, execution is done by Sonia. People who have been members for 25 years, we know that. So please acknowledge her. She's the first time she's come out in the presence. She's here. I would like to say thank you to her. Without her, there's no TiE Southern California. She's not coming out there. Anyway, TiE Southern California is 25 years old. We are one of the oldest, first chapter after Silicon Valley. But there's another organization in the SoCal which is as old as Southern California, TiE Southern California. That is Tech Coast Angels. Tech Coast Angels was also started in '97. Most of you know who Tech Coast Angel is. That is one of the most vibrant, strong angel investment group in Southern California. They have about 4 or 5 chapters now, I think. And I've been a member for 5 years. Now, I was a member. I left in 22 when we had a lot of responsibilities here. Some of us are members there. And most of you might remember we dealt with Grant, David, Johns, a lot of them, we met all of them, we worked with them. And today, the fireside chat, I'm going to be talking to the governor. Actually, he's the Board of Governors. He was the past chairman of the Board of Governors of Tech Coast Angels. Tech Coast Angels has got 500 members, and they have over 500 investments. They've been investing from '97. They had a lot of exits. If theoretically, if somebody wants to have an angel investment from Southern California, they go to Tech Coast Angels first. Yes, we are now competing with them or collaborating with them, I would say, that TiE Southern California Angels, working with Tech Coast Angels, we make a lot of investments together. And as I said, we have cross memberships also, but that's one of the most vibrant angel investment group in Southern California. So we are really honored to have the past chairman of the Board of Governors of Tech Coast Angels. So he is an attorney. I'm not blaming him for that. He's an attorney. But he moved to corporate life. We'll talk about how his transition happened. He moved to corporate life. And from corporate life, he has been known as the turnaround CEO, brand creator. He has been a teacher, an advisor, and he's also an investor. That's why he's here. If he's not an investor, I wouldn't have invited him. But he's an investor also, an avid investor for the past 15, 20 years. So he is also an investor, and we're going to talk about his experiences. I'm not going to talk about his legal thing from his corporate life all the way to where he is today. So please welcome Jeff Lapin. Thank you. Thanks for accepting the invitation. This is Jeff, past governor, actually current. Your term just ended, right? The governor of the Board of Governors chairman of the Board of Governors of Tech Coast Angels. As I said, he's an attorney, qualified attorney, JD, but he became a corporate executive long time back. So let's start there. How did you switch from being an attorney, legal practice, to the corporate world?
Well, I got to qualify that. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. This is all fun. Thank you very much. I got to qualify the attorney stuff because I didn't know what to do when I graduated UCLA, so I went to law school. My father said that's a good path, so I went to law school. But I went to a big firm. I did well, and I went to a big firm, but I only practiced for 2.5 years. And some client, for some reason, I got into hotel law by buying and selling hotels. And one of the clients, the hotel client, said, "Jeff, I'll double your salary. Come and work for me. I'll save money. You can do the deals in-house." And I think I went from $32,000 to $64,000. I thought I was rich. This is 1985. And that's how I made the transition. Just luck.
It's only 2.5 years, so I'll excuse you.
2.5 years, fine.
My daughter is also an attorney, by the way. Yeah.
Good.
Same thing. She didn't know what to do, and I said, go do law. That's all. Yeah.
They teach, being an attorney, what they teach you is nothing to do with being a business person. It's contrary. You have to relearn, but whatever. That's a whole other subject.
Good. So give us your experience on, they call you the brand creator. Now, you talked about the no name to brand name. What did you do, the first job, and how did you do that?
Well, the first job, was this hotel company. It literally had 3 little motels called Vagabond Inns. And it was a risk when I left and started this. And the founder, a few years later, had some problems and left the company. And the board said, "Okay, you're the CEO." And that was 1988 or 89. We had about 50 hotels by that time. We had done a couple public offerings. We were on the American Stock Exchange at that time. I did my first money raise in 1987 for $150 million. So I was a kid. But it's the same thing as raising $3 million as a startup, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. And that company grew and grew and grew, and eventually became Starwood Hotels. And Barry Sternlicht invested money in the company, owned 30%. We changed the name to Starwood. I got a demotion at that point. He became CEO. I became president. And I was there for many years with him until the late 90s. And we grew the company with Sheraton. I still get deals on all the Starwood hotels, which is nice. That was my biggest exit deal ever. And, we started the W brand at that time and did all kind of stuff. And so we built brands, and it was important to segment the brand. So we were segmented all across the hotel universe. And we ran each one differently with common themes. So it was interesting creating the brands.
Yeah, you see that now more. Now Hilton is creating all these new brands. Marriott is creating all the brands. They started it long time back. So he created those brands from no name to a known name, a Starwood, back from Vagabond to Starwood. That's a really fantastic job. But they also call you. I know you change your jobs, work with various gaming companies. They call you the turnaround CEO. So what do you look for? What is the turnaround CEO when you get in? When do they call you? How do they call you? What do you do when you get in? What do you look for? How do you turn around a company?
Well, this all started at the predecessor to Starwood. It was 1989, and it was one of the worst real estate recessions in history, as those of you who are a little older remember, where the Resolution Trust Company took over, lots of properties, banks failed, blah 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 blah, and we had several lenders at that time, and I remember the head workout guy at Wells Fargo, who was in San Francisco, said to me, "Can't wait to put you into bankruptcy because I want to spend my summer in Southern California in the good weather." And that started a 2-year negotiation with all the lenders. And we got through it, and obviously we came out okay, and several other turnarounds after that. But 3 things. And in every company, it's about people, product, and process, period. And you've got to have the right people, and we can talk about that. And one of the hardest things I've done is when you grow. And again, Starwood started off with 3 hotels. We had, $5 million of revenue in the beginning, right? And when I left, it was, I don't know, $3 billion? I can't remember. But the hardest thing, you take people first, and I'll keep my answer short, but the hardest thing is people. And when you're at $3 million and have a CFO or a financial person, that's a different person than when you're at 100 million usually. And this person is with you in the trenches in a war in the beginning. And how do you make that transition, right? You got to be fair to people. But that person generally, in my experience, will not get you to the 100 and 200 million. And the same thing with the marketing person and the salespeople are a little different. But the marketing people, the business development people, it's hard transition to make with people. And firing is really hard, especially those people who you basically grew up with. So you've got to, I know there's a lot of head shaking going on in the audience. And I'm sure you found, if you've run companies, you found this. But that's number 1, okay? And you've got to have the right people. And you've got to understand your weaknesses. I understood my weaknesses very early on, and hire around your weaknesses. Most people my age in the 20s and 30s don't recognize their weaknesses. And it's something I look for when I look for a CEO for my startup investments. Anyways, that's number 1. Number 2 is product. You've got to make sure you have a product. You have to understand your market. You can't know your market because you think you're smart. You have to get out there and really understand your market. Talk to your competitors, your buyers, your customers, and understand your market. Make sure your product fits the demand in the market. When we launched a new hotel brand, in which we launched many, we did lots of research. I mean, W was, a great example, right? Let's create a hip hotel, overcharge, and we'll get away with it because it'll make people feel hip and cool, right? And that was the premise, and it worked. It worked. I mean, we copied our game plan there from Ian Schrager, who did all these funky hotels in New York, the Royalton, et cetera. He was the Studio 54 guy. And I spent a lot of time with him doing that. But a lot of research, know your product. And then process. You've got to make sure that your process is not too cumbersome, and you've got to make sure it works. As companies grow, process becomes very important, right? You can become over-processed and lose every entrepreneurial spirit, which is horrible. At Starwood, even if we got big, we were always known as entrepreneurial. So those three things I always focused on in turnaround and running companies.
Yeah, this is same true even today. People, yeah, that's we always say, what's your team, right? Team. That's just exactly people, product, market fit, process. So whether it was 30 years ago or 40 years ago or today, it's all the same. Entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, look at it. The team is very important. The people, the product, the process. And you touched upon CFO. There are a lot of things, actually. I think Sam has written a book about that commandments, 12 commandments of an entrepreneur, young entrepreneur. You'll see the same thing in that book also. So this is people, product, process. That's fantastic. It's same thing 30, 40 years ago, today. It's always going to be that for any business. That's the crux. I know we talked about Game Boy and Atari. I don't know how many people remember Game Boys, but he was involved in that company. Can you give a brief overview of what you did there, Atari and THQ and whatnot? Yeah.
That's a good story. Anybody play video games in their life? Yeah, of course. Okay, we all have. So the first CFO of the predecessor of Starwood called me one day after I left Starwood and said, Jeff, I've got this company called THQ, and we're importing stuffed animals from China. Will you be on the board? Sure, why not? He was a good friend, little public company. And the first board meeting, which was kind of funny, he said, every board member has to contribute $10,000 so we can make payroll. So, no good deed goes unpunished, right? Ever. But I had a lot of experience with Japan because Starwood had an office there. So I would go over there a bunch, and he said, there's this company named Nintendo in Japan. Why don't you go over and see what's going on? And I made a deal with them for the first Game Boy in the U.S., and we became a video game company. And we grew from 20 million to 660 million in 4 years. And it was quite a ride. Same thing, people, process, product, same thing. And I love it. The best analyst question I ever got in my career, I'm sitting with a bunch of video game analysts, and somebody says, why don't you just make the hits? And I looked at him and I said, really? I wish if I knew that, I'd be sitting on my island someplace. But anyways, that's what happened. And that's how I got in the video game business. It was just, again, luck.
Yeah, from hotels to video games, unbelievable.
Right. But I loved video games. I loved hotels too. Both.
Yeah. But then he's also transitioned. Now he's also called teacher and advisor. He's part of the global access system out of UCLA. He teaches there. And that's mentoring, advising. Is it open for entrepreneurs, for companies? What is the process? What is that?
What I do at UCLA, and I've done for 10 years, is you have to do a business plan as your graduate thesis, the business students. And you either do one of two programs. One, you create your own company and do a business plan to launch it. Or two, you get a real company, typically from a foreign place who wants to launch a product in the United States, and you do a business plan for them to launch. And so, yeah, it's open to companies generally from outside the United States who want to launch here. And you pay a little bit of money as a company. It's the best deal in the world. You get 6 months of really great research by really smart people for cost you $1 million with Bain, and it cost you $25,000 in this program. So it's a great deal. But it's been fun for me. I give back. I love the students, and it's been fun.
Is it only for companies coming from outside the U.S.?
Generally, yes. There's been a couple in the U.S. who want to launch a product, but it's generally.
I think somebody was there from India. So if there's anything, this global access system, access program. So basically, you can apply. That's at the UCLA Business School. Good. Thank you. And the last but not least, you're here because you're an investor too. And you've been part of TechCoast Angels, been investing in companies. And I think you said you invested before TechCoast Angels also. So give us a sort of overview of your investor experience, either with TCA or outside.
So later in my career, and I stopped in 2000, I stopped working formally in 2011. But, and later in my career, when I had some money, people would come to me, I've got this great company, you want to put in 50 or 100 grand or whatever. And I did no research. I just did it because I liked the person who asked me to do it. I think I did 4 of those. One was very successful. The other 3 failed. But, you know, when you're working, especially public companies, I had no time to do anything. I had no time to manage anything except the company. So now I stop, and this sounds kind of fun. So I get involved in Tech Coast Angels and made all kind of mistakes in the beginning, which we can talk about because that's fun too, in investing. But yeah, I started investing that way. And I've not including the funds I've invested in, I've made 42 investments in startups. So I've got quite a portfolio. A lot of them have failed, but I've had 5 big exits, and so that's made up for everything plus. Several are still alive. So it's all good and it's all fun.
Just give us an idea. You said a lot of them fail. Just what percentage failure and what percentage of success? Just
at least 70%.
70% failure.
At least 70% will or have failed.
Yeah, we're being cautious. We always tell people, no, 1 out of 10 may succeed. I'm saying 90, just to be on the conservative side. So investment is not a joke. It's risky, but it's fun. You did have a great journey. You enjoy investing, right?
Yeah, I mean, my advice to any young person is do what you like. The money will come. Don't chase the money. Yeah. I mean, life is short. Looking back right now, and you can't do this in your 20s, you don't realize this, but now I'm, 66, and I'm looking back and I'm going, yeah, I did what I liked. Lucky, but I did what I liked. Loved hotels, loved video games.
But you still invest in people you like, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I invest
do you like
in
me?
products I like. Yeah.
Get some money from him.
You got a deal? I got a checkbook right here. But yeah, do what you like. But yeah, I like angel investing. I'm still do it all the time. I make 2 or 3 a year. I do follow-ups, blah, 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 blah. I like being involved with the companies when I have something to offer. That's a whole other thing. I suggest to the young entrepreneurs, have a board that I'm the biggest investor, so I'm on the board. Well, what did your biggest investor do? Well, he just sold his plumbing company. What does he know about tech? Nothing, but he's our biggest investor. He's not going to help you, okay? I mean, have people on your board who can really help you. Right? Anyways, just another piece of
So what are going on the same line, what are the things you look for before you invest in a company?
Oh, I mean,
something special, something unique you'd look for.
I'm probably going to repeat what many people you've heard before. To me, it's about, a Morgan Stanley investment banker years ago said, when you leave the room after making a pitch, you want whoever you made the pitch to leave with 2 things. 1, you as the CEO have credibility, and 2, the person thinks you can make them money, right? And that's lived with me forever, and that's what I look for. Does the CEO or management team have credibility, and can they make me money? And both comprise of several elements, several. Can you make me money? Can the product be big, right? That's the main one. Will the CEO listen? Is he balanced, or he or she balanced? Will he listen? Is there too much ego? Is there not enough ego? The financial projections that young entrepreneurs give, none of them in my many years of doing this have ever come true, right? Never. I mean, literally never. But are the assumptions behind them credible? Are they believable? Is this person like, if you see this straight up, I'm going to go from 0 to 200 million in 3 years, right? Right? It happens once in a lifetime, in a blue moon, and I've never seen the moon be blue. So, is it credible? Is it believable?
Yeah, it's the same token. You talked about people. Do you look for a team before you invest? Or is it just a CEO pitching to you and he has got probably proof of concept done, he's got a customer, would you invest, or you want on a team?
My ideal situation is 3 people, a marketing person, a business person, and a tech person, if it's a tech company. That's my ideal situation. My ideal situation is that the wealth is shared relatively equally. When a CEO comes and says, yes, I own 90% and I gave 1% to each of these 2 people, that's a problem to me, right? Right? And so I want the wealth shared relatively equally, and I want a balanced team. And so, yes, I do look for a balanced team.
And what do you look for in a CEO? Your criteria.
I honestly, my number one thing when people ask me, does somebody listen? Because as a CEO, I always listened to everybody. I assimilated the information. I made my own decision, right? But does the person listen to people? Will they take advice from people who are smart? And, that's this balance, ego versus non-ego. It's all wrapped up in it. But I want somebody who will listen and, who doesn't know everything, right? I look for that. That's probably the one characteristic I look for. Will they work hard and will they die trying? And, the person who drives up in a Porsche and, yeah, my father bought me a $100,000 car, that turns me off right there because that person's not going to die trying, right? So, whatever. But that's what I look for. Will they listen?
Oh, fantastic. That's good. So I hope some of the CEOs here are listening. And this is coming from a person who has done this for a long time, ran public companies, and also still investing. And Tech Coast Angels is one group you should be associated with, also with TiE SoCal Angels. Okay? So, yeah, because we partner, we have 200 members, they have 450 members, but we are investing, we also have funds. And just to be really frank, and I joined Tech, I've been an investor for a long time, from 2000. But then I've been investing on my own, and I wanted to get a sense of what other people are doing. So that's why I joined Tech Coast Angels in 2017. So I was with them 5 years. I learned a lot. I invested. I still have a lot of funds. I still have a lot of investments in Tech Coast Angels, Orange County. But I did learn a lot how people think, because Tech Coast Angels is made up of people from all fields, all walks of life. So you learn how they think, what they think, and then the collaboration, how they work. And that's what that model I tried to bring to TiE SoCal Angels. So I'm not ashamed to say I copied some of those. We got to do this. We got to do this better than them or similar to them. And that's one of the things we did. We started funds. We do this. So Tech Coast Angels is a very solid organization you should look into. So, TiE SoCal, TiE itself is a great organization you should be looking at too. You should, if you're not a member, you should become a member of TiE, at least an associate member, and then become a charter member by invitation. It is one of the greatest organizations. Anyway, thank you so much, Jeff. It was a fantastic conversation.
Thank you.
We don't have time for questions, but hopefully, you can always talk to him after this, and he'd be more than happy to share his idea.
Thank you both gentlemen. I would like to call Dharti, our BOT member, to give a small token of appreciation to both the speakers.